Hey, what is going on, guys? It's Connor here from MenuDocs, and today we are going to be doing another Discord.js tutorial. We're going to be looking at a mute and unmute command, but before we get into that, I just want to give you guys a massive shout out because we've been receiving a lot of support on the channel and it's been outstanding. We're loving the comments, all the likes, all the views that we're getting on the Discord.js tutorials, and I hope that we continue to get more. Now, I'm changing the format of how I do the videos. Basically, we're going to start off with how the command is laid out, and obviously you can stop the video and you can have a look at this, but basically these are the steps that we're going to go through to be able to create this mute command. And obviously we're going to start by looking at who the command caller is, so the person that runs the command. Then we're going to look at the mutee, who is the person that's getting muted, and also the reason why they're getting muted, and so on and so on. So let's start off. So obviously we want to check if the message.member doesn't have permission, doesn't have has permission, and basically what we want to check is for if they have manage underscore roles. So this basically checks if they have the permission to manage roles, which is basically add roles, and we just want to check if they're able to mute people basically. And then we also want to check if the user isn't the guild owner. So this also checks even if the owner doesn't have managed roles, which they should. It just checks to see if they are the owner of the guild, and if not, then return message dot channel dot send, and then we'll just say you don't have permission to use this command, and that's basically it. Then that's basically all we check for this first one here. We can also delete the message of the person who calls it, which I don't normally do until you get down to about here, which is when I normally do it. But anyways, let's get straight into obviously defining who the mute person is and the reason. So what we want to do is let mutee equal message.mentions.members.first, and then we also want to use OR operators, which we've used up here, to also check if there is a ID that is used. So message.guild.members.get and then args 0, and we've passed args for our command handler, command caller, sorry. So basically, if there isn't a mentioned user, it will check args1 to see, args0, which will be the ID of the user, to check if there is one of these. And obviously, we've defined that, so we want to do let mutee, and this checks if there isn't one. We'll do return message.channel.send, and then we'll say please supply a user to be muted. Then we want to obviously define the reason, so we'll do let reason, if I can type, let reason equal, and this will basically be anything apart from the user. So we have to slice the args, and we're just going to slice one thing off, and it will be obviously the user, so either the mention or the ID. We're going to slice that off, and then what we want to do is we want to join the args that come after that using a join with also a space in between. And then I think, you know, it's probably a good idea to mention that is a great idea to use semicolons whenever you can. It's a great way to obviously utilize JavaScript to its full extent. Obviously, in most Discord API stuff, as in Discord.js and Iris and all that, it's not really that much needed, but it's always a good practice to use them. And then basically, what we're going to check down here, actually, we should probably do it up here. If the bot is what we're going to check. If the bot, so message.guild.me, which checks the bot, .has permissions, and then what we're going to do is we're gonna make an array. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna check if they have managed roles underscore roles, or they have administrator, which is the two things that you want to check for, obviously, so that the bot can add the role. And then if not, we'll do return message dot channel dot send, and then we'll say I don't English, Jesus, have permission to use this to add roles. And then what we're going to do down here is obviously the same thing that we did for above. If there is no reason, we're not going to return it. What we're going to do is we're going to make reason equal no reason given. And that's basically going to say, so let's say if someone doesn't give, it's probably better to explain it by putting it out. So mute, and then we'll just say that's the ID, and then obviously the reason. So let's say if the reason isn't here, and it's gonna return that the reason obviously isn't there, it will say reason, no reason was given. And that just basically means that when we add it to an embed or we send it via DMs, it won't send an empty spot. It will obviously submit no reason given, which is obviously a great thing because we do not want errors. Now, let's go look down here, and obviously this is where we check for the mute command. So we'll let mute role equal message.guild.roles.find. Surprised I did not screw up anything there. And then we're going to use the new find method. I'm not sure if we've used it before, but basically it checks x arrow function dot property equals something. And now this is the role. This is what the role will be called. But we're also going to change this to name, and X can be anything. But for this case, we're going to make it R because it's relevant to it. But this can be ID, name, tag, anything of the sort. And we're just going to check if there is a muted role. And what we're going to do, if there isn't, let mute role. If there is no mute role, we're going to open up our params and we're going to basically create one. So we're going to try and then open another parameter. Why is there an error there? Interesting. We'll get to that in a second. Basically, what we're going to put here is we're going to go down one more and we're going to do mute role equals await message dot guild, if I can type again, dot guild dot create role, and then this is going to create this is going to give us a bunch of options. If I can open up, yep, okay. So what we're going to do is name, color, and also permissions. What we're going to do here is name will be equal to muted. Bam, make sure to add commas, guys. And then the color will be, for this case, we're going to do like a darkish black. So 514F, that. And then also don't forget the comma again. You don't want more errors. Then after that, we don't want to go outside, but we want to say message.guild.channels.for each bam, async, and then channel /ID, bam, arrow function, and then curly brackets or params. We want to do await channel dot overwrite permissions, mute role, and then more parameters. There is so many brackets in here. We want to make sure that send messages is false. We want to add underscore reactions. This is so they can't type out messages with obviously the reaction tools. So you can have letters with emojis, and we don't want that. So the next thing we're going to do is send TTS underscore messages. Make sure that is false, which they shouldn't be able to do anyways because they shouldn't have access to it. But we also want to check if they have the right to attach files. And now this is obviously a lot of things that you don't really need. So you basically only need the send messages and add reactions, but this is just to be Better safe than sorry. And I also do like to add it so they can't join voice channels and then talk and cause more havoc. Yeah, this should be a line higher, I reckon. Do this, and then we'll do catch error. No, that should be outside. Catch error console.log. And then what we'll do is we'll e.stack. And then don't forget your trusty semicolons. And then this is basically the whole thing for creating a role if it doesn't exist. And now we're going to get to the important part, which is to add the mutee's role. So mutee.add role, and it's pretty much that simple, but we're going to do mute role.id. And then we're going to do then, oh yeah, sorry. And then semicolon, bam. And we're basically going to do message.delete. And this is when it's going to delete the command to run it. We're going to do mutee.send. And this will basically send a message. Sorry, hold up. Let's change the quotes into backticks. But this will basically send a message to the author. Obviously, when we get to the ban command in, I believe, one of the next episodes, it becomes a little bit trickier because you have to send the message before the user is banned. Otherwise, you won't share a mutual server to be able to obviously send a bloody message to them. And then what we're going to do is also send a message to the channel, message.channel.send. We're also going to use backticks here. And then what we're going to do is mutee.username, because hold on, and then .user.username. And the reason we're adding the user in here is because the way we've grabbed the mentioned user is by adding members. You can also do this. However, this is a user object instead of a guild member object. So basically, this just makes it a guild member, meaning you have to then transfer it back to a user to be able to grab their username. And you can also grab their display name inside of the guild itself, but there's just some things that really just sometimes don't really need to be done. It's a lot quicker and easier to be able to do this. And obviously there isn't as many errors if they don't have a username or, sorry, a nickname inside your thing. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to send an embed. So we're going to do embed, let embed equal new discord.rich embed, bam. And then we're going to set color to, what are we going to set the color to? We do have our colors.json in here. We're going to do dark red, I reckon. So red, dark, dot set author, backticks, don't forget the backticks, and if I can find the correct thing, we're going to be adding the message.guild.name, and then we'll go outside, and then we'll type mod logs. And then I think just because obviously it's a public mod logs or inside a guild, we'll add the icon to the top. And then also what we'll do is we'll set the description, or we really could just have the yeah, we could have the user inside field. So add field. The top thing we want to talk about is we could talk about moderation, what moderation it was, and then we can have mute. Next one, nope, sorry. Next one, we could have add field, and then we can have the user that was muted. So obviously we grab the mutee.username, no, .user.username yet again, and then obviously outside, oh sorry, no. This goes on the other side. What we can do here is the mutee with this, bam. And actually we can remove this because we only want the variable to come out of it. And then add field. What else can we do? We can add the moderator who sent the thing. We can do message.author.username. Why is this not working? Ah, yes, the expected comma in which I've been so gracefully talking about. And then we can add another field and, ah, yes, we could add the date. So we could add the date, bam, and then message dot created at. I think that's it. Okay, so that seems to be everything. Oh, actually, it doesn't seem to be everything. No, obviously we need to go under here, and then message dot. Oh, actually, we haven't defined where the send channel is. So s channel equals message dot guild dot channels dot find, and then obviously because it's relevant here, we'll add the c dot name equals to tut equals modlogs, and then s channel dot send embed. So that is the whole mute command. I know it's extremely long, but I guess we'll try the command now. Okay, so the bot is online. If I can just quickly grab this over. What we're going to do actually is we're going to check if there is a muted role. I'm sure there is. We're going to quickly just delete the muted role. Just to test to see if there is obviously the ting. It is online. Mute at. Oh shit! I don't really think of. Here, we'll just mute another bot. Testing ting. Okay. So it says obviously the user has been done. Is there any errors? Ah, very interesting. Guild.members. Where is that? I didn't think I used permissions. Oh. Yes, I did. Permission. I think that should work. Yeah, just... I don't think I needed that to start off with. So we're going to reopen that. Okay, so it's back online. Obviously, they got muted and they had a... Oh, interesting. I think that was because, if I remember correctly, I didn't say colors correctly. Oh, maybe it was. Or is it colors dot red dark light? Let's try that. But anyways, that should be it. No deprecation warning. Where is the... Obviously, it created the mute role. So we're going to just test it without the mute role now. And then we go in here. Mute at I has Nick. Testing the ting. And obviously, DuncanBot responds, which is really annoying, by the way. But it should say... Cannot message this user. Obviously, you can't message a bot user. Is it still saying that thing? Jesus Christ. Did I use permissions somewhere else? Oh no, I used it here as well. God damn it. Okay. I'm really just not doing well today. Okay, let's try it one last time. Just because I don't want any deprecation warnings, because we'll get a lot of complaints. That is really annoying. We should probably make that to local string as well. Oh, we didn't add the reason in the embed, by the way. And then what we'll do is, yep, mute at I has Nick, testing the ting. That is not I has Nick. Do you know what? There we go. No deprecation warnings. Cannot send message to this user. Okay. That must be because they have their DMs closed or whatever. But while we're here quickly, we'll go down here. We'll add another field. Add field reason, and then we'll basically just put reason there. And then what we can do here is just to local string. Bam. Okay. So this is the mute command done, guys. But obviously there is an unmute command. And it's a lot easier than this, but I'll do it in the next episode because this episode has become quite a lengthy one because I've explained a lot. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this MenuDocs tutorial on discord.js, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.